thank you for tuning in to Two Ladies in Conversation. My name is Francina Grisette. I'm joined here with my co-host, Joanne James, and our special guest, Yulia Urukova Martins. Thank you for joining us, Yulia.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So what prompted the conversation actually was two separate conversations I've had with both of you ladies. It's family and business, family and dependence, and how it can affect and impact your business. For myself, I have a young daughter. She's 3 years old. My parents are aging. My dad has had health issues in the past with kidney disease. My mom, fortunately enough, is vivacious, still has the energy, but you never know. So it's one of those things of, this is real life here, ladies. It's having a business and having dependence and how could it potentially impact your business. So I'll start with my concerns or worries is because of my daughter's young age, I feel guilty. There's those moments where I work a full-time job as well. So I work my full-time, then I say, okay, I'm gonna spend a few hours on my business, on developing my business. I feel so bad. I wonder if she'll recognize that I'm only spending 10 minutes with her. I think she noticed. I start having those conversations with myself. I read one book with her tonight. Hope she didn't notice it was only one book, and I read a little faster this time so I can go to sleep because it's so late. So those are the things that I've experienced, having dependence. And then there's the guilt of my mom. My mom watches my daughter, and I'm grateful for it. And at the same time, I don't want you to spend too much time because I feel like don't want to take advantage of the fact that you're watching her for me. So those are my experiences, and then having the business too, which is a baby, I believe, in itself, or dependent on itself, that needs the amount of attention like a child, right? So what is your experience like? Because I know you have a young daughter, she's 18 months, and a husband. So what's that like for you?
So it's very interesting because it's a new level of learning to apply the things of managing your time, managing yourself. Because when my daughter was just born, we moved into a new condo with my husband, so we didn't have time to even settle in properly because she was born, right? So it was figuring out how to live together in this new space, creating structures, and figuring out this whole motherhood thing, right? And I think that what was interesting is that for me, in the beginning, I couldn't understand why I'm getting so tired all the time, right? And I think it came from, it was an aha moment at one point, is that I'm thinking about being a mother, being a wife and the structures in our household, and keeping up the activities in my business at the same time. Right. So, and it's finding out like I have to do those things like one thing at a time and focusing on one thing at a time. That's really made a big difference because it's only this much of us we have, right?
Right. So it comes back to time management. I guess we're having that conversation again, Joanne.
Absolutely.
Time management, and regardless if it's a young person in your life or a significant other, parents as well can have that impact on your business, because whatever time you take away outside of yourself or your business, when you spend with someone else, it's less time for yourself and for your business.
Yeah, so in my situation, I'm sort of on the other end. I don't have kids, but I do have an aging parent and aging parents. One has passed on. And so where I kind of sometimes felt a little bit guilty was the business required my time, and I didn't spend, I think, as much time as I would have liked to have. And so closer to the end, I tried to just spend as much time as I could with them, because sometimes what you don't understand and you don't realize in the beginning is these are times that are lost forever.
Yes.
So you really have to organize your time in a way to spend that time, and sometimes look at, do I really need to cut that time with my child? Is it going to make a difference, 10, 15 minutes? Which would, it's great for the child, but also it'll help you deal with feeling guilty about, dividing your time between the business and the family.
Right.
Because I experienced that a little bit with my aging parents. Now, I was very fortunate. I have come from a large family, and so I have sisters and siblings that are part of the caregiving of them. Plus, we have caregivers. So I was very, very fortunate that way, but I can see where there is a struggle. Now, what I ended up doing was spending, because I didn't have a child, was spending more time in the business. well, that doesn't make it better either.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So it just depends on where you're coming from. And yeah, at this side of the business where I'm at, I think family is very important, and they're going to be there with you in the end. If you still put that little extra time into it. So it's, it's walking a very fine line, a tightrope, in terms of trying to spend the quality time with the family, and then, the other family, which is the business, trying to spend time with that too.
So it's all about time management again.
Yeah.
So we're about
Yeah.
time management and making sure you slot in that time, even if you have to have a date night or a dedicated day to do something. Okay, we're all gonna have dinner. We get together as family, all the siblings get together once a month or once every 2 weeks, potluck style or something like that. And we all make sure we do something so that you don't lose yourself too.
That's right.
It's about your health. You have to take away the time from your business and focus on the reason why you're doing it. Remember the reason why you're doing
Yes.
it. It's something you're doing it for yourself,
Sure.
but you want to help your family. So you have to really go back to square one. I remember, why did I do this business in the first place? I could easily, get a job, work in the corporate world, but why did I do this? And I think that's the motivation for me, is knowing why I'm doing this, why I'm working towards leaving the corporate world and going into business. Is to develop an empire, right? And for my family, for my family's family.
And leave a legacy.
Absolutely. And there's something I heard you mentioning, talking about quality time, is that people don't spend enough time thinking about what that quality time looks like to them,
Right.
defining
Define
that
it.
for them, right? So what is quality time? It's, sometimes you see the family gathering around the dinner table and everybody's on their devices, right? That's
Right.
not a quality time, absolutely. So in the same way is that when we look at the time that we spend with our child, right, like or with a parent or in our business, so it's interesting. I heard once, we go from corporate to having our own business, and we change 9 to 5 to 24/7, right?
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
and it's your business, it's your other baby that you're so passionate about, and the value that you provide, and you're so excited, and it gives you energy and all that. But as entrepreneurs, we don't know sometimes how to push the off button, right?
Yes.
Right.
To set those rules for ourselves and the limits and for our time and things like that, so that when we're working, when we're at home, we're at home. And I think this is so important, is understanding that. And because I think when I first started out, it's just, all these things that I needed to do, and the thinking, what are the activities that push the needle, right? That's why learning from other entrepreneurs, working with a coach, taking courses, that was very helpful in understanding what I need to be working on versus doing all the things, right?
And recognizing what you're doing too. So it's not good to say, oh, I'm just taking a course. No, that's still adding a lot of value to push you and your business forward. It's not taking away time. Every little thing you do is adding to the time to your business, makes your business flourish, allows you to develop ways and strategies to put in place so your business can operate on its own. Your business should be operating outside of the 9 to 5, but you don't have to be there at 5:30.
Absolutely.
That's where you can get supporting staff, or you can have other systems in place, automate some things so that, it's something you just monitor maybe once at night and you put it away. So it's really about being structured systems again,
Processes.
Processes,
and I think it's very important to ask yourself a question when you create your business model and you look at the way you organize your business. What happens when you're not there, right? You want to work towards it and have a system and structures and support in place that if you need to take that time with the child, or take a vacation, or attend to the needs of your aging parents, you're able to, right? Because that's the reason why most people move into having their own business, right? To have that flexibility. But in reality, family would say, oh, I don't see all that because you work even more than you used to in corporate, right?
And those are the times I think you have to listen. You have to really tune in. When their family starts to say and express, hey, I don't see you, and where have you been? And you realize it's been 2-3 months, those are the cues. Those are the signs you have to, don't take it personal. Don't personalize it. Don't, feel like you have to come up with a reason or excuse. Just recognize it and shift if you want to shift. You remember why you got into business,
Yes.
and what your goals are. If your goal is to be financially free and take 3 vacations a year, you have to be able to let things go, put things in place so that someone else can do it for you, be it support staff, or if you have to take 2 weeks off, you can afford to do it. So again, it's right back down to systems and
planning. And also being selective with what you're doing. You know, when you go to networking meetings and you're meeting with people, to be selective that you're not just out there willy-nilly running from pillar to post because it seems like a good idea, you know, to go to it, but to select very carefully, make sure that there's a purpose and a benefit to going to that organizational meeting or meeting certain people, because you know you can go to networking meetings and meet all kinds of people and it doesn't really get you anywhere.
Or you're meeting the right people, the quality people.
Yeah.
If you are a chef and you're going to, I don't know, you're going to a networking event that's talking about, not even event planning, something completely different, photography. Why would a chef go to a networking event for photography? Unless you want someone to take pictures of your food, but you don't need, need to do that event every month for the next year. You have to look at your time, the quality of your time. You can do the networking, you can include the time for your family and your dependents, but it's what you do and how you use your time, like you said, the quality time.
Right.
Set a target. Say, if I'm going to go to this networking event, I'm going to spend an hour because I know when I get back home, I have an hour to do this. Or, you don't have to spend the 4 hours at this networking event. This one strategy that I was told was do research. Look, if you want to go to a networking event, look and see if you can who's attending that event, and go, okay, the one person I want to connect with is Joanne James. She's going to be there, perfect. So I'm going to make sure that I connect with her because she's the one person. Because you can't meet every single person in the room. She's the one person I want to connect with. Anyone beyond that is great, and it's great for me. So those are little things that you can do to use your time wisely so you can get back to life, because life doesn't have to be networking, right?
And I think it's also going back to having a strategy for your business. Because what happens is today we live in a world where there's a lot of information. You go online and people tell you all sorts of business advice when you're starting out. You start your podcast, write a book, go to a networking event, be a public speaker. And someone who starts out is like, okay, I'm going to try this. Maybe it will be helpful to me. And they don't know, right? And they spend all this time. Of course, if you have time to spend, that's perfect. But if you don't, right, like you really need to understand where your time is best spent.
I think even if you have the time, you really don't have the time, because if you suffer from shiny object syndrome, like every time you see something, I had my moment where I was like, ooh, that's great, I'm gonna go to that. Ooh, that's great. Then you have to go back to the drawing board. That's why it's good to have a strategy, like you said, and a plan. Go back to the plan. Does this fit within my plan? Doesn't necessarily mean I have to do it. I have to stop doing it altogether, just not now.
Right.
It's not ready for now. Maybe next year or next quarter, I'll incorporate it in my business at a later time. Right? You don't have to rush. Right. And I think sharing with your family too, sharing with them that what your goals are, how long it may affect the family dynamics for a little bit. Instead, at the end of this 6 months, we'll all go on a vacation. Make it more of a reward, so everyone has something to look forward to. When we achieve this goal, be it $5, be it $5,000, we're going to go on a trip, everyone. This is going to be our celebratory, event, and then we can go on from there. I think strategy, though, is the next topic we should really get into. Talking about what are the biggest tips, especially coming from a coach, that you suggest on developing your business and what can work for you. It may not work for everyone else, but what can work for you. So I think we will do that the next episode and talk about strategy and tips. And hopefully that was very useful for everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.